Have you ever pondered what led to the largest and deadliest conflict in human history, World War II? It all began with the aftermath of the Great War, World War I. The Treaty of Versailles, which marked the end of World War I, was seen by many, especially Germany, as humiliating and unjust. This discontent fueled the rise of a charismatic yet nefarious leader, Adolf Hitler. Hitler and his Nazi party capitalized on the resentment, promising to restore Germany's dignity and might. The world watched as Hitler defied the Treaty of Versailles, rearming Germany and annexing territories. Yet the true start of World War II was marked by the German invasion of Poland in September of 1939. This audacious act, unprovoked and unjustified, sent shockwaves around the globe. It was the final straw, the point of no return. In just a few short years, the world was thrust into a war of unprecedented scale and devastation. With the world on edge, how did a European conflict escalate into a global war? As the year 1940 progressed, the war expanded rapidly. France, a major player in the European theater, fell to the Nazis, leaving Britain to stand alone against the onslaught. The Battle of Britain saw the Royal Air Force rise to the occasion, defending their homeland against the relentless Luftwaffe. Simultaneously, an unimaginable horror was unfolding as the Holocaust began its dark journey, marking one of humanity's most chilling chapters. Meanwhile, the war's reach extended as the Soviet Union and the United States, two colossal powers, entered the fray. For the Soviets, the brutal Eastern Front opened, while for the Americans, the surprise attack on Pearl Harbor led to their direct involvement in the conflict. The war was no longer a regional dispute, but a worldwide struggle, drawing in nations and affecting lives on an unprecedented scale. As the war expanded, so too did its impact, forever changing the lives of millions. What were the pivotal moments that shifted the tide of World War II? Let's delve right into the heart of the matter. Unquestionably, one of the most significant turning points was the Battle of Stalingrad, lasting from August 1942 to February 1943. It was the brutal, bone-chilling winter standoff between the Soviet Union and Nazi Germany. This battle was a deadly game of chess played out over the course of 6 long months, with the city of Stalingrad as the board. Ultimately, the Soviet Union emerged victorious, marking the first major defeat of Hitler's armies and turning the tide on the Eastern Front. Then, we journey to the Pacific. The Battle of Midway, fought in June 1942, was a decisive naval battle that drastically altered the course of the war. Here, the United States, despite being outnumbered, managed to sink 4 Japanese aircraft carriers, effectively halting the Japanese advance in the Pacific. This victory marked a significant shift in momentum in favor of the Allies. And who could forget D-Day, the massive Allied invasion of Normandy on June 6, 1944. This was the largest amphibious assault in history, a daring operation that began the liberation of German-occupied France and paved the way for the final push into Germany. A crucial, yet often overlooked aspect of the war were the strategic bombing campaigns. The Allied forces relentlessly bombed Germany and Japan, disrupting their industries, damaging their infrastructure, and demoralizing their populations. The destruction wrought by these bombings played a significant role in weakening the Axis powers and hastening their defeat. Each of these turning points had its own dramatic narrative, filled with courage, sacrifice, and strategic brilliance. They were moments when the scales of war tipped, when the seemingly unstoppable Axis powers faltered, and the Allies began to reclaim lost ground. These turning points marked the beginning of the end for the Axis powers. How did the deadliest conflict in human history finally come to an end? That's a question that has intrigued many. As we move into the final stages of World War II, we see a series of significant events that led to the end of this devastating war. The fall of Berlin in 1945 was a pivotal moment. The city, once the heart of Hitler's Third Reich, was captured by the Allies after a grueling battle. The Allied forces, brimming with determination, had pressed on relentlessly, breaking the German defenses in their path. The fall of Berlin signaled the impending doom of Nazi Germany. Simultaneously, inside a bunker in Berlin, Adolf Hitler, the man who had led Germany into this catastrophic war, was cornered. Facing inevitable defeat, Hitler chose to end his life by suicide. His death marked the end of an era of tyranny, and it was a symbolic blow to the crumbling Third Reich. Shortly after Hitler's death, Germany unconditionally surrendered to the Allies. On May 8, 1945, the war in Europe was officially over. Victory in Europe Day, or VE Day, was celebrated with jubilation around the world, but the war was not yet over globally. In the Pacific, the war raged on. The United States, in a controversial and devastating move, dropped atomic bombs on the Japanese cities of Hiroshima and Nagasaki in August of 1945. The destruction and loss of life were immense. The bombs brought about Japan's surrender, marking the end of World War II. The world breathed a sigh of relief as the guns fell silent. The war had cost millions of lives and had left a trail of destruction in its wake. But it also led to a reshaping of the world order and set the stage for the Cold War era. World War II ended, leaving a world forever altered and a legacy that continues to shape our world today. The end of the war was a new beginning, a chance for nations to rebuild, to learn from the past, and to strive for a future of peace. So, what are the key points we should remember about World War II? Let's start with the causes. The seeds of the war were planted in the discontent following the First World War, with the Treaty of Versailles fanning the flames of resentment, particularly in Germany. This gave rise to the rise of totalitarian regimes in Germany, Italy, and Japan, ultimately leading to the outbreak of the war. The expansion of the war was swift and brutal, the world witnessing the horrors unleashed by these regimes. Yet amidst the darkness, there were turning points that shifted the tide. Notably, the Battle of Stalingrad and the D-Day invasion were monumental in changing the course of the war. Ultimately, the war ended with the Allied victory, but at a devastating cost. Millions of lives were lost, cities were razed, and the world was forever changed. The war's legacy continues to shape the geopolitical landscape and our understanding of humanity's capacity for both destruction and resilience. As we reflect on World War II, we are reminded of the profound impact history has on our present and future.